Since the year 2009, the wonderful South Shore of Nassau County has been deprived, starved of big-time Division I college football. That was the year Hofstra University canceled its football program for good. A former FCS school, this left the total of Division I FCS schools on Long Island at 2. Those two schools are Stony Brook and LIU. And I don't think Long Island has ever had an FBS team. That all changes today as we are reviving Hofstra University's football program after a 15-year hiatus and moving them straight up to the FBS. We searched long and hard for the right man to bring this team back to prominence. The right man is none other than New York's own, Long Island's own, New York sports radio legend Mike Francesa. It wasn't easy, but we convinced Mike to take the job, to come on board and restore Hofstra to their rightful place as the class of Long Island college football. Born and raised on Long Beach, Long Island, this one will be personal to Mike. So Mike's real-life alma mater is St. John's, which is not in this game, but he did spend his first year of college at USF, so we chose that. Now as we move through some of the early season things we have to do to set up this dynasty, Mike Francesa has been kind enough to join us here for an introductory interview. So without further ado, let's get started. Hello, Mike. It's good to speak to you. How are you doing?
All right, we're here at Hofstra today.
Yes, Mike, I know this is a bit of a role reversal for you, but I'll handle the interview.
What the heck is going on to start the show that way? I mean, come on now.
Relax, Mike. Maybe you could have saved those comments for when we're off the air. So, what are you most excited about being back on Long Island?
I want to go to the Shake Shack. Get the hamburger, which I've convinced now the hamburger is good because the bread is something special about the bread.
They're Martin's potato buns, Mike.
The burger's good, but I mean, I've had burgers that good. It's the bread.
There's just Martin's potato buns.
Something about the bread in those Shake Shack hamburgers. I can't figure out what they do to the bread, but the bread is outrageous.
It's literally just a Martin's potato bun toasted in butter, Mike.
I'm telling you, it's the bread. It's not the burger. The burger's good, but it's the bread is just incredibly good.
Mike, Martin's potato rolls, they sell them at literally every supermarket.
Because it tastes different, and I'm trying to figure it out. And, you know, Eddie brought me a Shake Shack thing. You know, he gets those colossal doubles and triples. I get one burger.
Double,
you
not
know,
the triple.
I mean, geez.
Anyways, Mike, what made you want to give up on radio and podcasting?
I actually got a guy calling me about Star Wars. What are you calling me about Star Wars for? What the heck do I know about Star Wars?
I mean, it's a really popular movie series. What's your problem with it?
How could they start with 4? What was it 4 of? 4 what?
4 episodes? I'm not really sure I understand your question here.
How is it for the people? What did they see it in? What realm did they see it in? Did they read it?
No, it's a movie series, Mike. I thought we already established that.
But the point is, how could something be 4 if no one's seen it yet? If it's 4, the 4th volume of a book, and you started with 4 and then you moved back and made 1, 2, 3, I understand that.
But you don't think that it's possible to do the exact same thing with movies instead of books?
But if it's not a book, what would it possibly be?
Mike, do I need to explain to you what movies are?
Because if it's not a book, wait, how did they go back? From what? What did so if you said, wait a second, they started with 4, how would you know it's 4 if no one's ever been introduced to the information before?
Well, they didn't call it episode 4 when it first came out. They had to revise it later on. But anyway, we got to move on, Mike.
4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3 is how we're going to count.
Mike, please stop making a mockery of my show. I was kind enough to have you on here.
Okay. Got anything else you want to add?
Excuse me?
Anything else you want to add?
Did I upset you somehow?
I asked you once, I'm going to ask you again. Is there anything else you want to add?
Mike, we don't have to have this conversation if you don't want to.
Well, no, wait a second.
What is it now, Mike?
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Whatever, Mike. What do you say to the people that say you're not cut out to coach this football team?
That is utter nonsense.
What do you think about the Newsday reporter who said this is just a publicity stunt and you won't last the entire season?
That is an absolute disgrace. And this stooge tried to alibi around it.
All right, Mike, I think I need to cut this short before one or both of us gets in trouble. We are a struggling radio show. We were hoping you can give us a boost. This didn't really go according to plan, however.
I'm not surprised. If you don't, I mean, you know, really, I'm not surprised. I hate to tell you. I'm not surprised.
All right, Mike, that's enough of that. Thank you for your time. We probably won't be having you back anytime soon. I apologize for how poorly that went. I really thought it would be more cordial. But anyway, that did carry us forward a little bit. We are now almost done setting up our recruiting board. To be more realistic in my targets this time, sometimes in my previous dynasties early on, recruiting has really gone poorly because I think I have aimed too high. So we've added mostly 3 stars, bunch of 2 stars, I think maybe like 1 4-star. Tried to get a decent sampling of each position because our team is terrible and we probably don't have like any foundational pieces on our team. Backups are in like the 50s in overall, some in the 40s even. And now as we come down to the end, the last 3 additional pieces we are going to add to our recruiting board are cornerbacks. We get 1 free safety, no strong safeties on the board. But we will have time to remedy that going forward. Now, some of the highlights from scouting. We uncovered 1 green gem there in that tight end. A couple of red. I don't know what you're supposed to call it. I call them red gems, so that doesn't really make any sense mentally. So yeah, the reds get removed. The greens get prioritized. We got an insta-commit, actually, which I did not expect. Tyler Costello, 3-star running back out of Hartford, Connecticut. I guess always dreamed of playing for the Hofstra Pride. He got that scholarship offer and it was over. Moving on to red shirts, which is going to double as our introduction to the roster because going through the depth chart after this is like a little bit redundant, and I think we need to get into some gameplay soon. As I mentioned, some of these depth pieces, like I don't think they'll ever be seeing the field if we can recruit halfway decently because they're in the mid-50s, some of them even lower in overall. So we're basically just going to go through, pick out the lowest overall people who don't have a chance of getting on the field this year, and redshirt them. Our 3rd tight end is a 47 overall. This is unreal. Some of these linemen in the 50s certainly not going to play for us, I sure hope. At least not this year. Maybe some of them can take huge jumps in the future, but I'm not going to be relying on that. But yeah, 67 overall. This is going to be quite an uphill battle. This is worse than any team that's actually in the game, I believe. I think Kennesaw State is in like the low 70s overall. Although the introductory to the Dynasty screen did have us at a 72. But now it says we are a 67. No matter how you cut it, we stink. Just about every team we play this year will be at least like 10 overall points better than us. Some of them much more than that. Our opener is on the road at West Virginia. They're like an 84, 85 overall. That's probably not going to go well. We also didn't really have much speed at all. Our fastest player is our 2nd running back at 91 speed. Our starting strong safety is only 84 speed. The fastest one is a 60 overall guy that we are redshirting. Here you see Keontae Tyson out of Wallingford, Connecticut. Now as we jump right into this one, let's take a look at some uniforms here. West Virginia has some nice threads. We check through that for a second. Ultimately, we decide on one of the home options, the alternate, that has, no, this one, the white helmet. Strong mountaineer vibes, I suppose. Now, coming over to our side, let's check out our uniforms. Obviously, we got the away uniform, the Midnight Pride all black, the Heart of the Lion, and then this Flying Dutchman throwback where the blue is like a little closer to a navy blue. I'm not sure that's a real thing that ever existed, but Hofstra was, once upon a time, before they were the Pride, they were the Flying Dutchman. That might be a real thing. I'll look it up. We're going to go with our standard away uniforms, though, which are pretty clean. I'm pretty happy about the uniform choices here. Alright, after looking it up, there is some merch online with that Flying Dutchman theme and that color scheme, but I have not found any athletic uniforms, let alone old football uniforms, that have that colorway. But here we go, traveling all the way from Hempstead down to Morgantown, West Virginia. We're collecting a hefty paycheck to come in here and get our butts whooped by West Virginia. But who knows, maybe we can shock the world. Also, perhaps maybe some savvy viewers have noticed this is the first game of the season. We are on the road at West Virginia. In real life, West Virginia played Penn State in this slot. I think when I put Hofstra in as an independent and swapped out UMass, it gave us UMass's schedule automatically, but I regenerated the schedule because UMass's schedule is like really unbalanced. There's 2 games against Missouri and Georgia, which we would have got absolutely boat raced in, and then the rest of them were like relatively easier teams. I mean, we wouldn't have gone undefeated against it, but there weren't like enough challenges there, and the challenges that were on the schedule of Missouri and Georgia were just like ridiculous. So I thought regenerating the schedule would give a more balanced schedule, and I think it did. We have 6 Power 5 or Power 4 teams on the schedule, and none of them are like anything crazy. I think Arizona's ranked 16th is the best team we'll play this year. Then off the top of my head, we also have Georgia Tech, Indiana. I said Arizona. I think Maryland is on our schedule. Our next game will be against Miami of Ohio. Georgia Tech will be our first home game. We'll try to have some recruits coming in for that one, although winning probably will not be in the cards for us. Although we are able to generate a negative play there, it will now be 2nd and 12 for West Virginia here on their first drive. Coming back now with trips to the left, running back to the left as well. They hand this off. We get a nice gain up the middle. That'll be a first down. So much for generating that negative play. Now I'd like to offer something up for anybody who's made it this far and is still watching. As a form of shameless engagement bait, I would like to allow anybody who comments on this video to rename a player on our roster, since these are all fake, made-up people. All you have to do is comment something like rename your starting quarterback this, or you can say the guy's name now. The only caveat is that it can't be something offensive that's going to get me in trouble. You can make it as silly and ridiculous as you want, and I will say it on stream as I commentate these games. Or not on stream, because this isn't live, but on video. Yeah, the only caveat is that it can't be offensive, no slurs or curse words or anything that I can't say on the video. Anyway, back to the game now. West Virginia is steadily moving down the field on us. Luckily, we've kind of made them work for it a little bit. No crazy big chunk plays. As Garrett Green drops back to pass, doesn't see anybody. He is going to scramble into the end zone for a touchdown. West Virginia gets on the board first here. Garrett Green is a 5th-year senior. He comes out of Tallahassee, Florida, but he has spent his entire college career here at West Virginia. And now the Mountaineers will kick this one off, and we will get our first look at the Hofstra Pride offense. There's not really any standout talents here on this offense. Our quarterback luckily has 82 speed, which we can work with. And Olsen will line up. We'll go with a little slow mesh here. A little Wake Forest style play call. Problem is we probably won't be able to hold blocks for a normal amount of time, let alone the amount of time required to run that play successfully. So we're going to come back in an RPO read now, and Olsen with the keeper. And he's got blockers on the outside. He's able to set them up well and run forward for a 1st and 10. Now coming back with a read option look. West Virginia responds with 5 guys along the line of scrimmage, so we hand this one off inside. And we're able to pick up 7 yards by number 7 on 1st down. I'm not that good with the names on this team yet since we're just starting. I think that's another thing that renaming the players will help with. As we run a little RPO return here, they leave Williamson out in the flat pretty alone, but they are able to close quickly. Williamson does, however, pick up a 1st down. Now we're going to orbit motion with a slant coming on the other side, and that gets wide open as they crash down on the run, and we're able to hit that for a 1st down. Now we come back on 1st down with a trap run called. I'm not so sure this one's going to work that well as we jet motion across and pick up just 3 yards on 1st down. 2nd down and 7 now as Hofstra's first drive is moving decently well as they get into West Virginia territory, looking to tie this game up. We're going to go jet pass to Scooter Page, one of the names on this team that's been pretty easy to remember. We should name that guy like Wayne Chrebet Jr. or something like that. Hofstra has produced a few NFL players in its day, as that is just a terrible throw that I realized in the moment was a terrible throw, so I held the meter down all the way to the end and threw an interception. So West Virginia's back on the ball here, deep in their own territory. Anyway, Hofstra has produced some NFL players in their day. 2 wide receivers in particular that, at least to me, are kind of noteworthy. Perhaps I'm kind of dating myself here, but former Jets receiver, who I just mentioned a second ago, Wayne Chrebet, went to Hofstra. And I'm going to drag this out for a second to see if anyone comes up for a guess. The other one is a wide receiver, played for the New Orleans Saints. I believe he was a 7th-round pick. But he did go on to have a decently productive career for the Saints. That would be none other than Marques Colston. Colston played for the Saints from 2006 to 2015 and had 6 1,000-yard receiving seasons. Surely boosted by having Drew Brees as his quarterback, but definitely a solid, successful career for Marques Colston, and he was certainly the last player out of Hofstra to make any waves in the NFL, as he entered the NFL in 2006, and Hofstra shuttered their football program in 2009. A couple of fun facts I actually didn't know until just now. Marques Colston is the Saints franchise all-time record holder for receiving yards and receptions, and touchdowns too as well, actually. In his career, he had 711 catches, he had 9,759 yards, and 72 touchdowns. Wayne Chrebet, on the other hand, played for the Jets from 1995 to 2005, so retiring right before Colston came into the league, I suppose passing the torch over, if you will. As a guy who was from New Jersey, played college football on Long Island, and then went on to play 11 years for the Jets, Chrebet may be more of a folk hero than he was an actual NFL star. Definitely a guy who was popular with Jets fans throughout his career. His folk hero status, I'm sure, was boosted by his small stature and what I will call his scrappy demeanor. Yes, that is a euphemism for something else. I'm sure you can figure it out, and if you can't, I'm sorry. Now we're into the second quarter. West Virginia's running back is throwing our defender off of him like a piece of paper, and then rumbling down into the red zone for a huge gain as they're knocking on the door to go ahead 2 scores now. Now they're going to go with a speed option. Maybe not Garrett Green's forte, but he pitches this out, and they pick up just 1 yard. On 2nd down and 9 now, they will line up with the running back to the left. We're bringing a blitz look. They pick it up perfectly. The running back stays in to protect. We bring 7 guys against 7 rushers. We should have brought an 8th guy. Whoever was covering the tight end should have rushed, but they won't do that on their own, so nothing I can do there. So West Virginia kicks the extra point, and they go up 14-0 here early in the second quarter. They'll kick this one back to us as we will try to make something happen here once again in this rainy Morgantown weather. As pressure mounts on us, as this deficit builds, we will take to the air a little bit here to try to make something happen. We had a guy open, and he's able to make a grab over the middle on a crossing route that gets us a nice first down. Now we're going to come back in a pistol look and run our boy number 7 on a stretch play. He doesn't get too far, in fact, only back to the line of scrimmage. Now we're going to call a deep choice play. They've got a guy coming around the edge at us, and we are not going to be able to escape. That's going to be a sack and a loss of 11. It's now 3rd and 21. Again, we were going to take on the hopeless task of trying to generate an open deep shot, and that goes horrible. On 3rd and 21, we throw an interception again. West Virginia is back on the ball here in positive territory. Mike Francesa's team is falling behind early. Hopefully he can stop the dam from breaking and keep his team engaged in this one. You know, we spoke to Francesa in production meetings this week before the game, and, you know, the first thing he said to us was, could you give me a Diet Coke? But then the second thing he said to us was that he really likes this team. He said he thought they had a chance to surprise some people this year. Now, he didn't say they were going to win today. He also didn't say they were going to lose today. But he said he thinks that they will have some opportunities to surprise some people this year, for sure. Now it's 2nd and 18 for West Virginia. Looks like we were in a cover 2 invert look. They're in 2 tight ends. We're a little worried about the run. And they do hand it off. And we're able to stop them for just a gain of 1 yard to keep it 3rd and 17. This time we come out in a cover 4 look. We motion our guys over to the left side a little bit to shade towards the run. And we once again are able to get in there for a sack. We covered everybody up well, and we forced them into a 4th and 30, which will force them to punt after that interception set them up in such good field position. That is a huge win for the defense. The offense hasn't been making it easy on the defense, but thus far the defense has been pretty solid. Now we come back on a triple option look here. We're going to pitch it kind of early because I keep having disasters with the pitches when I wait too long. And we're able to get some space for number 7. He picks up just 5 yards. Now we're going to run a counter play, which could backfire horribly, but we do get the edge. It works. That might be the cleanest counter I've run in this game in years, or in any of these games in years. One of the flaws these games definitely still have is that pulling linemen don't go upfield. They just pull and stand around at the line of scrimmage and get in your way. I'd love to be able to run more counter runs, but I just don't trust it. Now we're going to go to one of our favorites, the scissors play. They're going to bring a blitz and leave the corner route wide open, uncovered, and we were able to hit that for a nice completion out around midfield. Our 5th wide receiver, who's probably like 50 overall, makes a nice possession catch along the sideline. Then we try to target him again on the next play, but it's covered up pretty well. Now we'll go for a slot fade. Anybody who's looked at the FAU Dynasty at all knows that I love these routes very much, but with the receivers we currently have there, they don't work, and they're not going to work here either. As that throw goes into traffic and gets picked off yet again. I believe that's our 3rd interception of the first half. West Virginia once again back in plus territory. Once again, we set our defense up with their backs against the wall as they throw this one out to their tight end, who makes a nice possession catch in traffic. Must be nice to have guys who can come down with catches like that. Now we're going to rush 6. They're going to get it out quick. Up over the top, we played no defense. We had everything pretty covered except for that. If that guy was in press coverage, I probably should have noticed that and moved him back. Is a problem we've run into a bunch in our FAU Dynasty, the accidental press coverage where you give up a one-play touchdown. So now it's 21-0 with just a minute 20 left in the half. We'll see if we can score before the half here. Just a few moments ago, it looked like we could potentially make this a 14-17 game going into the half, but that feels like a distant memory now as we throw one up over the middle into traffic. That's going to be incomplete. Now as we come back in an empty set again, we got Foreman in one-on-one press coverage on the right side. I just don't think we can trust him to beat his man. Now they overload blitz to the left side. They do get a free runner, but we get the ball out in time. But it's going to be incomplete, as I predicted. Now on 3rd and 10, let's see what we've got here. We're going to go back to the scissors look. This time they do cover the corner route. So we come back to the middle, and that is a dangerous, dangerous throw. That should have been intercepted. We are lucky that one wasn't. Now on 4th and 10, we will make a potentially reckless decision as I lose patience for punting and decide to go for it. But luckily, we're able to find a man open over the middle, make a secure possession catch just to be safe, and he gets down on the ground with the ball in his possession. That is a 1st down. Coming back on a jet sweep, and we're going nowhere. That's going to lose 3 yards. 38 seconds now, the clock running. Maybe we should just let this one go to halftime. As we get sacked on 2nd down, they're going to take a timeout. It's not going to be 3rd and long for us. We're going to go with a little flea flicker, a little trickeration here, try to make something happen. We do get the flea flicker back, but not with a lot of time to make any sort of decision. Chuck up the post route. I did review this on the replay. It was probably the best decision. No one was really open. Now on the punt, their player off the edge absolutely rocks our punter. Typically, I turn off roughing the kicker penalties. Anyone who's played this game at all understands why, but I forgot to do it. It's because this is the first game of a new dynasty. So the penalty is still on, and it will very much benefit us here. Or so I thought. As we get a new 1st and 10 here with 15 seconds on the clock. A new lease on life. Another attempt to go down and get into scoring range. But that doesn't go well. We try to hit a crossing route, and it gets undercut and picked off, and we probably should have just punted. We probably, the roughing passer penalty was not a gift. It was a curse. As West Virginia gets another score, and now they go up 28-0 on us. If we could have not thrown interceptions and maybe converted some of those drives into at least field goals when we got across midfield, this game could be something like 14-6 maybe. But the fact of the matter is that we are just also not scoring on top of turning the ball over so much that I just think there's really nothing we could have done here to have much of a hope. Into the 2nd half now. Hopefully Francesa and his boys will make this one look respectable. Play hard to the final whistle at the very least. We're okay with being overmatched. We're okay with, taking our lumps during this rebuild. But one thing we're not okay with is our team quitting, We're going to play to the final whistle. We're going to give it all we got as we hit a nice play on the option here as we get the edge to number 12 on the pitch. Again, pitched it kind of early because I didn't want to press my luck waiting too long. Now we attempt a drop back pass where we have no time to throw and our quarterback gets rocked. At this point, we start digging into the playbook a little bit. We're going to go with play action and try to hit maybe a deep shot or something. It's not there. We scramble out of the pocket, but a flag is down. That will probably be a holding call. Yeah, the camera pans to our offensive lineman. You know what that means. That's the guilty party right there. And unfortunately, this short scramble will be called back. Instead of a 7-yard gain, we will replay 2nd down, 10 yards back from where we were. It's now 2nd and 20. Dialing up 4 verts, a play that we don't really call a lot, but just trying to make something happen. Hopefully, maybe we could hit a seam route or something or find a hole in his own. Doesn't happen. 3rd and 20 now. Olsen takes the snap, drops back, throws it over the middle. It's picked off. The defender's basically running our route for us, and they're going to go all the way in for a pick six here on the first drive of the second half. That's another touchdown for West Virginia. This game is not going well at all, but I still can't help but think that if we hadn't made some of these boneheaded mistakes, it could have looked a little bit more respectable. It could have at least, in theory, looked competitive at this point, although I don't think that there's really anything we could have done to have a chance to win this. As number 12 comes back on the rocket toss, we had a little bit of technical difficulties there, so we had to pick that up in the middle of the play for some reason. Now we're going to call up a wingback dive in the other direction. And we definitely had a little bit of success here with the flex bone. We were definitely able to dial some stuff up that West Virginia wasn't expecting and have like a little bit of success. Here again, a little counter play out of the flex bone. We cut it back, make a nice run. It's clear that Mike Francesa has some stuff in his bag that that the opponent wasn't totally ready for. A little QB counter here almost hits. We had a hole there, but they are able to close it up and stop it for just a 1-yard gain. But definitely some fun play designs here. Another RPO read here, and we're going to keep this with Olsen. So yeah, Francesa definitely has schemed some stuff up in the running game that West Virginia wasn't ready for. Part of me just wonders if maybe I should have kept this stuff in the bag so that our opponents aren't ready for it next game. But at this point, I just wanted to generate some offense and try to get on the scoreboard. I didn't want to get shut out. Now on 1st and 10, we got a little dual drag concept over the middle. I thought that they were going to be in man coverage and those defenders were going to follow the drags, but they did not. Now another keeper on the RPO read, and Olsen gets a nice 7-yard gain. On 3rd and 2 now, we're going to come back with a speed option left as they're giving us good numbers over there, but Olsen doesn't make the pitch, unfortunately. For once, we had been having some good luck with the option runs, but not this time. Now 4th and 4. Olsen again on the QB keep. He's got the space for a first down, but he's going to fumble. Then our lineman is going to pick the ball up behind the first down marker, and that's going to be a turnover on downs. So really unfortunate series of events there as we had the first down, but then fumbled backwards and picked it up before the marker. That's just the kind of game it's been for the Hofstra Pride. But it's all right. It's game 1, and, you know, Mike Francesa is building something here. Now we're bringing a blitz on 2nd and 1, but they're able to cut it back and pick up the first down. We just don't match up physically that well in the trenches or anywhere else on the field. 1st down and 10 now for West Virginia. Another handoff up the middle, and we were able to force a fumble here. Their running back broke a tackle, but then got popped and let the ball go, and we were able to recover it in plus territory here late in the 3rd quarter. So we finally forced a turnover here. The defense has showed up pretty well. The only touchdown we've given up so far this half was the pick 6. The last touchdown before that was also a pick 6. I think those are the only 2 pick 6s I've thrown. I don't think there was a 3rd one, but there was, I think, a touchdown off of an interception that set them up with a short field. And then we make a really nice run here that might have gone to the house if our guy had some speed. Weaving through traffic, finding a lane, but eventually gets tackled. Now we're going to come back with this pistol look again, run it up the middle. So yeah, the reasons for optimism, I would have to say, are pretty stellar defensive play, all things considered. And a run game that's moved the ball pretty well. As we call duo here, we get some double teams on these linemen, and we're able to get a nice big gain again. We've done a solid job of diversifying our run looks, different blocking schemes, different guys running the ball, the quarterback, the 2 running backs. As we run this one up inside again out of that 3 tight end look. I realize the last 2 plays and this one as well are out of the 3 tight end look. I haven't totally checked, but I remember our 3rd tight end was only 50 overall. So I'm guessing that's got to be him on the field on this formation. Now on 3rd and 11, hopefully we can at least get a field goal. I'm not sure what I thought 4 verts was going to do for us down here. Although they did line up and press. Good location on that pass. Might give it a shot, but again, we're outmatched. The throw is terrible, and it's intercepted. And that is going to take away our scoring opportunity here late in the 3rd quarter. Off that turnover. Thought we had a promising shot, but unfortunately it was for naught. Break off another huge run here on a counter. And we totally vacated the backside as we thought they were going to run across the formation, and they hit a huge run on us. In the last play of the 3rd quarter, all smiles from the Mountaineer as he waves to the crowd as his team leads this one 35-0. Let's see what the Hofstra Pride can do here in the 4th quarter. Here they go again, handoff up the middle, breaks a tackle, and then finally the 2nd wave is able to get him down after a gain of 7. At this point, we start to shift into a 3-3-5 stack look, hoping that'll give us a better chance against the run. And here, at least, it did, as we were able to get a tackle in the backfield for a loss. I'm not sure what the specific strategy is here. I just know that this is the kind of defense a lot of Big 12 defenses would run against Big 12 spreads to try to control their run game. And so I figure we might as well just try anything at this point. Now they're in a goal line formation, so we come out in a 4-4. They decide to toss it, and we are able to string it out, and after a couple of broken tackles, finally get them on the ground and force a turnover on downs here as they try to go for it on 4th down up 35-0 like a bunch of jerks. Not that I wouldn't do the same exact thing here. Now rocket toss out to number 7. We get just 3 yards as we are back in the flex bone once again. One of the few formations that we've been able to generate any success out of. We go with a counter option here. And our quarterback outruns the pitch man, so I'm not going to pitch that. Just holds on to it. Gets a nice, was that 7 yards? I don't know. I don't remember what second down and distance was. Now we try to pitch it, and it goes terrible. That's more like what we've been seeing in the FAU Dynasty when we run option, as the pitch goes like 20 yards backwards. So we will have to punt this one on 4th and 19 here in the 4th quarter, as West Virginia will get the ball back with under 4 minutes left, up 35-0 over Mike Francesa and his Hofstra Pride. They're going to go back to the run game and run over our guy again. And this time they fumble again. That looked kind of close to being down. We'll see. As we recover this one and we come back, there is no review. They're going to let this one stand. So 2 turnovers in pretty short, quick succession. And now we've got a chance to go in and score again as we orbit motion into a wide receiver screen for 5 yards. Now we're going to get an RPO read. You're going to keep, but then sling it out to the tight end, who then cuts it back behind blockers and gets upfield for a 1st down. Now on 1st down, we are going to engage in a futile attempt to get a receiver open downfield. This time it actually kind of sort of works. He had some space. He just dropped the ball. That was Scooter Page there who couldn't come up with it. Now again, we're going to RPO read, see if we can get the tight end out in the flat. We're going to keep this one with Olsen, who again has blockers out wide and then cuts it back. It's very interesting how the blockers set up on those plays, because they're like not really blocking until you start running across the line. I'm never quite sure on what the correct direction to take on those runs is, because there always seems to be so many options. Now 2nd and 12 here. We're just trying not to turn the ball over this time. We're going to audible to a jet pass because they didn't line up the numbers out there, but they do get wide on us and stop it, and Scooter Page gets hurt. Little guy getting crushed between the tackles. Not where we want to have him, probably. 3rd and 12. And Olsen drops back, rolls out. He's just going to throw this one away. Didn't have anyone open. We would like to live to fight another day with our field goal kicker. It'd be really funny if we missed this. And, oh, that is not the most accurate. So we go light on the power, and it just barely gets across. We are on the board. That is your first points for Hofstra football since 2009. Still no touchdowns, but we are not going to get shut out here in Morgantown. As we kick this one off, West Virginia can now feel us breathing down their neck as we start a ferocious comeback. I'm sure that they are shaking in their britches and will turn on the chew clock to try to get this one over as quickly as possible. They have 0 offensive points this half, and they only have that 1 pick 6. We have also outscored them 3-0 here in the 1st quarter, so obviously if there was another 6 minutes put on the clock, West Virginia would be in big trouble. But unfortunately for us, that's not how it works, and West Virginia is just going to chew out the rest of this clock, it looks like. 3rd and 2 here, our last opportunity to maybe get the ball back. We're going to bring some heat off the side. They're going to hand off and run right by it. Pick up a 1st down. That looks like their backup running back now in the game. Looks like Tavon Austin in the number 1, but obviously that's not him. And that'll be a 1st down. We're now at 40 seconds now. Just one more snap should do it for this one. They will hand this off inside. They will go nowhere. A loss of 2 yards, but that should do it as the last 5 seconds wind down here in Morgantown. Mike Francesa's debut on the sidelines of Hofstra as a big-time college football coach doesn't go the way he wanted. He will start his career 0-1. After a lifetime, a whole career of talking, he finally starts doing, and day 1 doesn't go that well. But that's okay. We're sticking by him. We think we can build off of this. Like I said, there were some promising aspects. The defense played okay, as here's a montage of West Virginia defensive backs running into the end zone as they all get together and sing Country Roads Take Me Home or whatever it is they do after a victory. Final stats, we threw the ball 32 times for just 90 yards, so that's 2.8 yards per attempt, not great. We ran the ball 32 times for 4.3 yards per carry. That also includes sacks. So our running game was pretty good. The defense was pretty solid. Yeah, I don't think there's any circumstances in which we won, but if we were able to play a lot more mistake-free, we'd probably only lose by, like, I don't know, 15 instead of 32. But Mike Francesa knows this journey is a marathon and not a sprint. So we are going to get after it after a good week of practice, and we will be back next week. We're going to upgrade Mike Francesa's coaching abilities, recruiting. We're going to upgrade blocking and receivers as well. We've already upgraded quarterback. Now we're going to set up some recruiting visits for next week as this video winds down. I would like to thank everybody who watched it, who made it this far. Again, if you'd like to rename a player, just let me know in the comments. Let me know what you thought of this. Let me know if you like the Mike Francesa interview. I can try to make that an ongoing thing, but if nobody cared about it, it was kind of tedious. So I will need to hear some positive feedback if I'm going to keep doing that. I thought it was funny, but it's hard to tell what other people are going to think. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Check out the FAU series if you would like, although I think this is going to become the main focus for now. I just think it makes more sense to be starting a new dynasty that people can follow from the beginning. But join us next time as we will play our first home game in James M. Schwartz Stadium against this Miami of Ohio team. That's a 78 overall. Hopefully we'll have a better chance